this feeling for Rotherham United.
Woods got round the back, and Richie Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham Unted podcast, and it's time to look back to a draw with lots of positives, some negatives, not perfect, but a much better Saturday afternoon than we've been used to over the last two Saturdays. Goals, penalty incidents, bad performances. We'll cover what we can in the next hour or so. First of all, Lewis is with us. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good to be back. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Good, mate. Good stuff, mate. Steve's back with us. How you doing, Steve?
Good evening. I'm all right, fine. Thank you.
Good to be with us. And John's back. How you doing, John?
Evening, yeah, fine, thank you.
Good to have you with us. We've got loads of people in the comments. Everyone says, evening, are we going to get a Mick first rant? Mick isn't here tonight. I don't think you're going to get a Mick rant tonight, sadly. So we, as a four, will have to fill in for Mick's unhappiness at Mr. Langford from yesterday. I'm sure we'll be fine at that, based on some of those decisions. YouTube viewers, Martin Holland and Basil are all with us. Miller Six says, good evening, everybody. I wonder how much everything more of the Sheriff. Sarah Ogden says, evening all. I saw a glimpse of what we could be in that second half. Stephen Hans says, good evening. I'm Mick's benefit, not with Dar. Josh Caswell's with us, as is Jim Wilkes and Cheryl. There's loads of people with us tonight. Thank you all for being with us, and we'll get through what we can as and when. But let's just start going a big picture, Lewis. First of all, it is 2-2. It's a draw, but certainly second half there is a lot to be excited about going forward, and a bit of a springboard, hopefully.
Yeah, mainly that second half, like you say, but it were a lot more of what we want to see. A lot more. We were in control, creating chances in opposition box. It's really what you want to see, and hopefully, it can be took into further weeks. But it were a lot more positive than it has been in recent weeks.
Yeah, definitely. And John, to be fair, it not only was it much better, it was entertaining. I know the first half wasn't great, but it was still a semi-entertaining half, and the second half, again, was really, really entertaining. If we're not going to win games, and maybe sometimes lose them, at least make it interesting and a bit fun. And I thought, I came out yesterday, although gutted we'd not won, I enjoyed watching the game.
Exactly. I mean, as a neutral, I thought it was a damn good game. As a League One game, I thought it were right up there. I mean, coming out at ground, listening to both set of fans, they were both, satisfied with point. I mean, for me, it's all about performance. If you can achieve 7 out of 10 every week, you're not going to be far away from picking points or wins up. And, I thought yesterday, first off, we got out of wraps. We were at them early doors. And then they sort of came into game. I thought Costello for them and that Trevitt, that Costello especially, were an handful. And they grew into game sort of first off, and they had a couple of chances, and crowd went flat for me, Rotherham crowd. And then they get that, it were unlucky for Raggett, that deflection. So we go in at half-time 1-0 down. And for me, Amshaw's made a massive call at half-time because he's pulled 2 senior pros at half-time. You do that to a youngster, you kill him. But you can probably get away with seniors. I mean, Kelly, it might have been tactical because he had that tackle, and I'm sure we'll come on to it, referee, but that potentially, it were a bad tackle, and he's probably thought he's on a booking, I'll pull him off. But I mean, it's a big call pulling Jordan Ugle off at half-time. And I know in previous shows we've talked, this is Ugle's season, I've said it, you've said it, everybody said it. And he's flattering to deceive again. But the changes he made, Ateti especially, although McWilliams did well as well, but Ateti, who reminds me of Leon Best, a big cumbersome lump, but he proved to be a bloody handful, and he turned game for us, and he got a reaction, and crowd got behind us, and like we say, it was a good point in end.
Yeah, it were. And it makes a change, Steve. We'll come into the specifics in a minute, but it does make a change, even in the first half, which wasn't a good Rotherham performance. There were still spells in there. I think, John, right, we were unlucky to go 1-0 behind. There was nothing in the game all week. Hugel said it could have gone in. they could have got another one. It was, even though it wasn't a very good performance, it was still matching the opposition, which is what you want as a minimum.
Well, I think within the first 5 minutes, we'd equalled what we'd done for the full 90 the week before. So, we'd had more than one shot. But I mean, the first half was a bit, meh, but that was both sides. I don't think either side showed any real dynamism. There was a lot of tippy-tappy going on. But yeah, I agree with you. We did have 2 or 3 sorties down the left-hand side. Hugo's header was well saved by their keeper. But that's really all that happened, really. I mean, Dan Gore was a little bit unlucky with that shot where it just got away from him and went through the defender's legs and tickled it up. But yeah, the first half was a bit dull, but it was a damn sight better than it had been the week before, which was a positive if you look at it that way. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Jamie Wilkinson says it was an enjoyable game, which absolutely was. Sarah Ogden said, I think that second half has probably seen off Hugo and Kelly. We'll certainly come on to that. Paul Swift, half-time substitutions changed the game. Was Hugo injured? Understand why they took Kelly off because of the yellow. Let's jump into the specifics of the goals, first of all, Lewis. The first goal is an own goal, so we have to say there's an element of luck in that because the save, if Raggett's not there, but that's the third time, at least the third time this season that we've had teams break into us on the left-hand side in that little pocket. Port Vale hit the bar in the first game. Cardiff scored from it in the other game, and obviously Wigan scored from it today. So there is an issue with that area of the pitch, it seems. Yeah,
well, the way I saw it, I think it was Coletta. He went like down injured just beforehand, and he was really struggling to get back. He was getting forward, but he was struggling to get back. And I'm not sure whether for that goal, it pulled a few people across. It meant a midfielder, I think it might have been Powell, had to come across. James was a bit higher than he needed to be to cover the space where Coletta should have been at wing back, and I think they just got straight in between us. It's not brilliant defending, and then, like I say, unfortunate for Raggett. There's not really much that can be done. But when they work the ball well through the line, through our defence, it's going to cause a problem, and like it did, unfortunately, a goal.
Yeah. Steve says it was the tracking of the runner that's caused the first goal. Yeah, John, and Kelly and Powell. I thought last week with Kelly and Yearwood both there, I didn't think that worked particularly, and we kind of saw yesterday. Certainly going forward, we had little impact on the game, but it just felt a bit messy, and I feel like that's once again contributed to that space which Wigan exploited well. But we were his own worst enemy for that one.
Yeah, I mean, we're early doers into the season, aren't we? I mean, you're going to be looking after 12 games, you'll get sort of settled. I mean, for me, midfield, it lacks a pest. When we had Rathbone, Frecklington, somebody in midfield that can rat about and get a foot in. I mean, Yearwood does that to a certain extent, but I think when Kieran Spence gets fit, I saw him against Sheffield United, he looks that kind of player. So he could be that one that sort of rats about and gets a foot in. But, going on backline again, Zach Jules is missing. That's just another big player that's missing. Reece James has got to fill in on left-hand side at 3. And Coletta's first game as wing-back. So, I thought they did reasonably well, really, to be fair, to say it were a first sort of combination together, them two. But goal, it were unfortunate. I mean, he's made a good save, keeper. I shout out for keeper. I thought he's had a good game. I know fans sort of always like to point finger at somebody, and they went towards Raggett yesterday, first off. But I thought he grew into the game. I thought second half he got some brilliant interceptions, and I was watching him in particular. So, I think, again, Raggett, he's been out 6 months. It's going to take time for him. I think once they all get fit and, little bits we've seen yesterday, it's exciting times ahead, I think, to be fair.
Yeah, certainly something to smile about. Andrew Ball adds Lenny in there. Lenny missing as well. If Lenny's fit, that back three looks totally different. On Raggett, Steve, obviously he gets credited or whatever you want to say about with the own goal. But I agree with John. I thought he had a decent game yesterday. There was no real mistakes. Yes, he's slow, but that was if Sean Raggett's going to play, that's going to be a Sean Raggett. He headed it, he kicked it. It wasn't really out of position. it was more like what I want to see if Raggett's going to play. I thought it was, like I said, very, very unlucky with the goal.
Yeah, I mean the goal itself. You saw their player running past Powell. So I mean, I'd say Powell should have tracked him, but didn't. As far as Raggett's concerned, I agree with you. I thought he had a really decent game. He heads a lot of balls. You forget, and I kept an eye on him throughout the game, and he heads a load of balls. And I also looked at his footwork as well. And I mean, Mick basically says that he plays like Jake Lepeg, but he had a decent touch on the ball when he had to. And maybe when we come to the equalising goal, we might have to chalk that one up to him. But I thought he had generally a really decent game. And as John says, he's been out for 6 months. So again, he's going to be useful. He's not going to be not useful. He's going to be very useful. I mean, the last time he played regularly, he won a championship with Portsmouth. Exactly. So these are the things you've got to bear in mind whilst the team's coming together.
Yeah, I completely. Nick Worth says worries me on the ball, but he won some great headers. Josh Caswell, his distribution weren't great, but I think he was solid by the far side. Yeah, I think Raggett's Raggett in it. He's not very good on the ball. You've got to accept it. And Matt, I'm sure, is going to work our way around that, which yesterday was a good start. It felt like
he's not messy, is he? Let's face it.
Exactly.
MESSI. He might be MESSY sometimes, but
Let's not kid ourselves. Richard Wood weren't the quickest, but
no, exactly.
He made up in other areas. I think Raggett, free kick wise, he's going to be an handful once he gets fit. He can win some headers at free kicks. It's going to be difficult. Obviously, when Agbear gets fit, who's he going to go with? Zach Jules. It's a nice problem to have, isn't it? If they're all sort of firing, that's what you want, competition.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Robbie says Raggett has been at fault for 3 goals in 3 games. Yeah, he's not the only one that's been at fault for goals, but as it seems to be the case, it's gradually getting better. I think we're all in agreement that yesterday was much better than it was before. The second half-time interval, Lewis, changed the game, if we're honest with it. We obviously brought those 2 changes, which John mentioned earlier, with John McWilliams coming on and Kieran Tete, and they were both crucial in that first goal. Reece James has put a good ball in it, and Tete will come on to his overall performance in a minute. But that sort of hold-up play in the middle to try and get his shot off was just superb centre-forward play. And McWilliams has done what he needs to do. It was a scuff shot with a deflection, but they all count.
Yeah, I think when you look at the subs at half-time, it's 2 players who Atete played 20 minutes or so at Port Vale, if that. Well, Port Vale and Stevenage combined probably 20 minutes, and people were on his back already for no real reason. And then he's been injured, and people are probably thinking he's coming on. And then you've got McWilliams, who they've been talking about him maybe leaving. So people are probably wondering why they're coming on, and they've probably turned out to be his best 2 players on pitch. I think it'd be quite fair to say. But like you said, with Atete, I know you don't want to touch on his overall performance yet, but for that goal in particular, his first touch were the most impressive part for me. How he just trapped it dead, and then he's like jinked a little bit to try and get a shot off, a block shot. But then McWilliams, it's a very tidy finish into the bottom corner via a deflection.
Yeah, a lot to be excited about. And to be fair, Reece James coming for a lot of stick recently the last 2 weeks, John, defensively, and rightly so, because he had issues. But again, we'll talk about the second goal in a minute. But he was crucial in both goals. The ball into Atete is a fantastic ball for that one. Atete's got a lot of work to do. But it's really, really good bit of play from Reece James. And, well, Atete's done the hard work, but he's still really, really good. I think James deserves some credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like Reece James. I think he's a damn good pro. Like he's and like you say, he's put a great ball in. Atete's, control's good. He's jinked. He's got a bit of a dummy, and then he's managed to get a shot off. It's come out and bounced at a right awkward eye from McWilliams, and that technique that he's sort of hit a volley, trying to keep it down off balance. That's a great finish, actually. Very good finish.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And what do you? Are we overplaying the play? Steve, it was just one moment from it that's from Atete where he set that up, but is that a sign of like, okay, this is the kind of striker he can be? He can be that nuisance in the box. It is the other bits as well, which we'll come on to. But are we overrating that his role in that first goal, or was it excellent?
No, I don't think we overrated it at all. No, I mean, let's face it, down our left-hand side in the second half, we were ratting for the ball, to use a word that John used earlier on. And if you look at both goals, they were a bit messy to start with. We kept losing the ball, but then fighting to get it back again. And Atete was a main protagonist in that all through the second half. I mean, he just wouldn't give him a minute's peace. And both goals came from his persistence. But then he got himself in the box for the first goal. And I think his first touch was excellent. I don't disagree with the two guys at all. And I think McWilliams' finish was probably better than we give it credit for. All right, he get a little tiny deflection, but he hit it quite well. It might have gone in the ground, but sometimes the worst ones to try and save are ones that have been hit into the ground. So yeah, I was well chuffed with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. On McWilliams, Lewis, let's have a minute before we come to the second goal. Let's have a touch on McWilliams, because there's rumours he is potentially on his way out, which is a little bit. Harry says in the comments, Sean McWilliams is criminally underrated, if you ask me. And I fall under that category. Since around Christmas last year, whenever he's played, he's been outstanding, and he is that ratty kind of player we've been missing, but he seems to have improved on the ball. Yesterday, I thought he was excellent on the ball. And I know Atete was excellent, but McWilliams changed the game for me. I thought he was superb.
Yeah, you think even back to last season, he were, to start with, never seen, lucky to make the squad, and then he had his little spell across Christmas where he were arguably one of the first names on the team sheet in midfield, and then I thought he'd have been a big player under Matt Amshaw coming into this season. But he were almost shipped out to wing back, I think, against Sheffield. I think he played wing back, which people are 50-50 on. But then, yeah, like you said, the talks are him moving away maybe. But he's come on at half-time yesterday and probably maybe staked a claim to be starting over Kelly, probably. Powell didn't have his best game. So I think there's a strong case for McWilliams to be starting. And like John said earlier, if you're looking for a pest, I think he is that sort of player who's box to box, up and down. He's got the legs for it. And he has got the quality on the ball as well, like we've seen with his goal yesterday. He has got that quality which he can add to his game as well.
Yeah, and with the midfield's obviously been a problem over the last few games, John. I think McWilliams, it's only 45 minutes, so maybe we shouldn't get too carried away. But McWilliams kind of answers a lot of the problems, especially while someone like Spencer's out injured. Williams answers all those questions. He gives you those legs. He gives you that ability to get forward, which Kelly doesn't. He's good on the ball. He ticks everything for me. He starts Tuesday, and if he's fit, he starts Saturday. It was that good, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he were at Northampton, and like he were their main man week in, week out, star rating, and then they had a bad injury there, and obviously we signed him, and he's never really got going. But you can see that there's a player in there. If he can just get a run of games, 4 or 5 games, I mean, he's going to be a hell of a player. And I know, like you've said, his name's been mentioned that he may go out, and that's probably to free up some space for somebody coming in. So I would imagine, I'm sure he won't let him go unless he's got a better option coming in. But yeah, I mean, on that second half showing, you'd probably, certainly at Barnsley on Tuesday night, you'd probably start him and see how he gets on in that one, and hopefully build from there, really.
Yeah. Loads of people in the comments, Steve McWilliams made a difference last season. Be very disappointed if he left. Josh Caswell, also McWilliams needs to stay. He's crucial. Imagine the midfield, Powell, Spence, Drew, McWilliams, Benson. Usually McWilliams covers the ground effectively. Race Medley, McWilliams was great. He was, when he was in midfield, should be midfield, of Gore, McWilliams, and Powell or Yearwood. Yeah.
Sorry, Matt. If you think about a midfield that you want to work, and in previous times, you always need a one like a Richie Smallwood that's that does all the dirty work, but don't always get the acclaim. But he'll be best man in dressing room because he's doing all graft, but he's not necessarily with crowd. And then you want a playmaker, which is Powell's probably a playmaker. Then you want that pest like a Rathbone. That's the ideal sort of three combination what you're looking for. And like I said, we're only 4 games in. I think we've got players in building to fill those sort of, that criteria, but it's just finding the right balance. And we might find it by accident. Sometimes that happens. Somebody gets injured, somebody else comes in. These things happen by accident sometimes. But, it's early days, early days.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a couple of players. Mick Williams and Jimmy Wilson, right? Dango can be that pest. He has been that pest at times. There's consistency issues with Dango, as you'd expect, but I think you're right. It certainly could be one of those. Moving on to the second goal for us, Steve. Martin Sharif with the debut, with a dream debut, to be honest with you. We'll come on to his other performance in just a second, but again, Reece James deserves a hell of a amount of credit because that's an excellent ball across, and that's the finish of an Alfie in his peak kind of thing. It was clever. It was tidy. There was no panic in it. It was a finish of a proper striker.
It was a thing of beauty, I think, the goal itself.
Yeah.
I mean, Reece James decided to run forward. He ran forward with intent. And that layoff from Atete, that little swivel in the layoff was just fantastic.
Yeah.
And straight across, ball went in. And how he got in front of his defender and just managed to slide it in. I mean, it was fully deserved. I was so happy for him because he is 6'2", 6'3", a big unit, and he's very mobile as well. And you forget he's 19, really, just on that performance. And when you consider is that his first professional performance?
He played the Papa John's, played the Virtual Trophy for Everton, so
right, he did, but that's the first league performance of his career. I mean, crikey, it looked as though he'd been playing there for a few months. I mean, he's young. Let's not get overboard with him, but his enthusiasm must rub off on other people. And even accidentally, with Atete finding a bit of energy and a bit of movement, I think that they look great together. But only time will tell. But yeah, what a finish and what a build-up. The whole thing was brilliant. I thought that was an excellent goal, one of the best we've scored for a while.
It was everything that we've kind of been asking for. You want the hold-up play, which we've been begging for Hugo, but Tete managed to do it. You then got a cross into the box, which is an excellent cross, and you want that man who's brave enough to get across the goalkeeper and get across his defender, Lewis. It ticked everything we've kind of been asking for over the last few weeks. Yeah,
it's the sort of goal you want to see. It's a well worked goal. It's nothing. It's not like an outrageous, spectacular goal. It's not a. It's just a good goal, good build-up play. Like I said, Atete is the main part for me. Again, is the way it's like it was like a turn with the pass, and then he's laid it back into James. Like I said, James getting forward well, and then a good ball. I can't tell clearly on videos whether who it comes off, but obviously Sheriff's in there is harried them all game, and he did deserve a goal, I think. On his debut.
It comes off him.
Did it definitely come off him?
Yeah.
Try taking it off him, Lewis. Just try.
No, just don't.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You're not going to.
It'll hurt you. Or it'll start singing at you.
Yeah.
I looked at him in warm-up, Sharif, and I thought, bloody hell, what a pair of shoulders this lad's got. He must have had a big paper round because he's built like a proverbial brick shithouse, but he's mobile with it. I mean, you can tell he's come from a Premiership club. That movement across sort of defender to get in front, and balls come in. It's come to him sort of on half volley, not the easiest ball to make contact with, and he's had a deft touch to put it past keeper. I mean, that's a top-notch finish, that one.
Yeah, it's so underrated finish, level of difficulty finish. Bollerod says Martin had a cracking debut. Nick says Martin was very good, very impressed. Showed great feet at times, strong. He can shift for a big lad. He also looks hungry, which is what we wanted as well. Sheriff was there at the right time to get into the box. Hugill would have been on the edge wrestling somebody. But that right place, right time, John, obviously that was the only goal he scored. But every time a ball came into the box, I just thought he's actually in the right place. If something happens here, and that's obviously not by accident. He obviously only got the one goal, but he was constantly where I think I would want my striker to be, so, which Hugill has struggled a lot with. To be fair to Nombi, I love Nombi, but he struggles being in the right place when crosses come in and everything else. He was constantly in a position where a defender had to think about him, and that'll pay off dividends in end. It did in end.
I mean, personally, I've coached myself. I think strikers are born, and they've got that knack of being at right place at right time. And he looks to be that kind of player. He just knows, your top strikers. They know where to be when ball comes out. They know where to position themselves. It's early days, but signs are looking good. That he's going to have a successful loan spell with us. He's certainly a confident lad, isn't he?
He absolutely is, and his energy as well, Steve. It was not just the thing we were talking about the movement in the box, but his energy all around the pitch. He was running back, making a big tackle in the first half as well. He linked up really, really good with Atete. His all-round game. He's obviously learning. You could see him looking at other people to try and work out what he needed to do. He's still learning, but everything about his game yesterday was raw, but still very, very impressive.
He's only been in the door, hasn't he? 5 days, 4 days, 5 days. So it was a very impressive debut, and I'm just hoping that he carries on with it. I was quite impressed with him in the first half. He did link up with Hugill, not bad, and he was doing a lot of closing down. He was doing a lot of pressing that he could, and I thought to myself that some stage in the second half he's going to gas out, but he didn't. He was the one in the 90-whatever minute who nearly hooked it in. He was in the right place at the right time for that Raggett flick on. But yeah, very impressed. I'm just going to keep my powder dry on him a little bit. I hope he continues along the same lines, really, because he's going to be a right player if he carries on. Little mention for Mr. Gore. I don't know whether you're going to mention him later on. He's my favourite.
Yeah, we'll definitely touch on Gore. Sure, he's got everything he needs. He's got all the technical abilities he needs to be a striker at a very, very good level. It's just so he's got to put the work in, which he looked like he was very happy to put the work in yesterday. Harry says, let's not fall in love with him because he'll be gone on the 1st of January. But, Lewis, as we've felt over the last 2 or 3 years, there was a sting in the tail. And if the first goal was a little bit of bad defending on the edge of the box, this was kind of schoolboy defending for the second one. It's Paul Mullin scores from about a yard out, and that's where Paul Mullin's going to be. You've got to be better than that. Matt Amshaw talks about somebody not following their runner. It's just a lapse in concentration, and if you're going to have a lapse in concentration, you sadly get what you deserve.
Yeah, well, I have to be honest to start with. I wasn't actually in the ground for the goal because I had a nosebleed just before it went in, so I was in the bathroom for it. But I've seen it back, and I've just seen someone say they thought Mullin were offside. I've seen a few people say that, but I didn't look at that. But I think I want to say where it's Sean Raggett who's lost his man. There didn't really seem to be anyone on him really, on Mullin, and then he just sent to. I don't really see how he can leave a player like Paul Mullin on his own in the box, because he's going to be the one who's going to tap it in from on line, basically, innit? He's the danger man in the box, and if you're leaving him open and available to score from a player like Raggett as well, you'd like to think with his experience, his ability in box as well, you'd think he'd be dealing with it, but yeah, it's disappointing to concede it, and it's another thing they need to get out at game. I know Denzel all talked his post-match interview about things they need to get out at game. He mentioned first goal just before half-time, and then you've got a late goal as well. It's just not the times you want to be conceding, not the manner you want to be conceding either, really.
No. Just as well, so it mentioned Swear Mullin was offside. So obviously we don't have a straight on camera angle, but if you kind of pause it at the right time, it looks like he isn't onside. Like Mike said, I think it's Powell. Somebody is quite deep at the front post. So almost certain is onside, but you obviously can't tell specifically. But as somebody, go on, sorry.
Didn't our Estonian friend, he's put something on X today where he's actually taken some screenshots and he's definitely onside.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was offside when I first looked at it yesterday, but
I think for me, that ball's come in, and you know, when you're defending set plays, you want to win the first contact, and we do. That's a little flick header, something they'll have worked on in training, and Mullin, he'll know if they get that flick header where he wants to be. I mean, Paul Mullin is the bloody Jamie Vardy of League Two, innit? He's no dumpling, like we've already talked about with strikers being at right place at right time. You know, and he has, fair play to him. And just after that, he could have got another one. You know, we were lucky that, you know, keeper saved us with that second one as well. So obviously, I don't think he's got 90 minutes in him now, but he's obviously going to come on and be a big impact, Mullin, I think.
Yeah. If you do look at that goal, it is the flick on that kills it. Because to be quite honest, if Raggett had been on his shoulder, there's a fair chance that would have been his second own goal. Because you're so close to the goal, unless you're going to manage to miraculously knock it upwards and over the bar, you're still in trouble. So it is that front post flick on that I think killed us with that particularly. Yeah.
No, I completely agree. Matt, I'm sure, talked about it after the game. Alex Basendale says, like a concentration at the end of halves games will solve itself as the team get more game under their belt, which is true, but it don't make it any less frustrating, does it, John? Because they're terrible. We all know the worst times to score. There's two worst times at the end of the first half, end of the second half, and we're ticking a lot of those boxes at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, Stevenage, Cardiff, and yesterday, you know, before half time, we concede, and you know, you go in at half time, then you've lost a lot of energy and get other side plenty of energy. So, I mean, obviously, I'm sure looked at that and he'll have been disappointed again that we conceded just before half time. And I think that's probably caused him to want that reaction and pull them two senior pros off to get, and probably one or two younger ones have looked round and thought, bloody hell, he's pulled these two off here. These are big players, and he's ended up getting a reaction out of the team. So you've got to give credit to Amshaw. He's a young manager. It's a big call that, like I said, he's pulling Jordan Ugle and Liam Kelly off at half time. That is a big call.
Yeah, absolutely is. Absolutely is. We're going to come on to the penalties in a second. I just want a bit of housekeeping. So in terms of our shows for the next couple of weeks, the deadline day is a week on Monday. So there will be no show next Sunday post the Doncaster game. We'll be live on deadline day on Monday. Normal time, still 8 o'clock live. But as is traditional, we'll be live on deadline day. I think it closes a bit earlier, thankfully, so we don't have to wait up till midnight trying to talk about nonsense for 3 hours. But yeah, so Monday, instead of next Sunday, it'll be next Monday that we're live. So if you want to join us, we will have a Doncaster Rovers roundup, because that's obviously playing next week. Plus, then it will be a transfer window deadline day kind of roundup. So keep an eye out for that. On to the penalties, Steve. It's a shame Mick's not here because we know how much he loves Oliver Langford to start with. And then he didn't do himself any favours. The first one, one that hasn't been picked up too much on social media, is Tete, as soon as he came on, had the shirt ragged around his neck. And then there was the Raggett one in the very, very last minute where the shirt was literally taken off. The EFL directive at the start of the season was that they're going to clamp down on holding at set pieces. It seems to have lasted about 3 games, apparently, Steve, because there's 2 blatant penalties there for me.
But it's obvious that if you take the person's shirt off, you're not holding on to them, are you?
That's true, actually.
So you can follow the logic there, can't you? Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that last one, it was like, he's had his shirt taken off his back. So why is that not a penalty? And there is no answer, is there? It's just because Langford will find some half-baked reason why not. And again, I think that they were holding us quite frequently. They were holding on to us and pulling us down. I mean, you look at the handballs. Now, the handballs are a little bit more difficult to be as obvious as you want them to be. I mean, but the one where the guy leaned into him, I mean, that's a Tarkovsky one. From Monday. So why is that not given when it was given the last time? in my view, we should have had 2 penalties. I mean, he seemed to make it up as he goes along, Langford, like he usually does. I mean, I'm not like me in that I really give referees a hard time. I mean, generally they're a bit average, and if you don't notice them, then I'm fine with it. But yesterday, he was giving some weird things for both sides, and not giving obvious things, like Ragger having his shirt pulled off his back. I mean, that should have been given. I don't think there's any doubt about it. But I'm not going to rant like mate. So
I'm going to cause havoc here.
Oh, go on.
Thought he had a good game.
Do you?
And I'll tell you for what. Oliver Langford is a championship ref. Is a what they call Group 2 ref. He's trained VAR. He can take, charge of top games. He's a VAR trained referee. He's not a League One journeyman, and I thought he let the game flow yesterday, and that's why we got a good game. I think he did make a couple of mistakes, but the beauty about a referee is if he's consistent. And there were one that when their player Trevitt broke away, and I think Reece James stuck a leg out, and lad goes down. I think it right on edge at box. It was debatable whether it were a penalty, but it was certainly a foul. And he didn't.
Oh, nailed on foul. Oh yeah, nailed on.
He didn't get that, but then obviously second half, I think their defender, his hands come towards ball. The only cop could see that because Langford were directly behind him, so he couldn't see it. The linesman on the other side couldn't see it. So again, you're trained as a championship ref. If you don't see that, you can't give it. So he's not given that. So he's evened it up. I think you've got to look at that Liam Kelly tackle. If that's a League One journeyman referee, he's giving a red card for that. And I credit to Langford, he's not sent him off. And I thought, on the whole, I know a lot of people not agreeing with me, but I thought on the whole he's had a good game.
Fair enough. I do agree with the Liam Kelly one. As soon as Kelly went in, looking back, I think I'm pretty sure he got the ball. But we've all seen red cards for those kind of tackles before.
Yeah,
so I do agree on that one.
Yeah, me too. Just ruining our fun, John.
You what, sorry?
You're just ruining our fun.
Sorry, but I used to travel away with Howard's Webb's dad, so I've been sort of brainwashed into looking at other side of things.
Oh God!
I always sort of look at referee, and like I say, I quite like Oliver Langford. I think he's a good ref. And he did make a couple of mistakes, but at least he made them for both sides.
Oh yeah, we don't think any. Side, definitely.
Yeah, but I don't think any of their players had their shirt ripped. Did they? That's the one that astounded me. Really.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying about the one where he leant down. If you can't see, you can't give it. But I'm biased because I'm a Rotherham fan.
Exactly.
But, the shirt one. That was really difficult. He's there showing him his shirt. He tore my shirt off my back.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because every game you see this pulling at shirts, and if you start getting them for shirt pulling, they'll end up with 5 penalties a game. So I know what you're saying, and I know they're going to clamp down on it. I think there's been one with Man United today, haven't there? That they've given a penalty for some.
It was a VAR. They actually went to the camera. They told the referee to go to the camera, and it still took a couple of minutes for him to work it out. So it's very subjective.
Yeah.
Because it's not clear cut.
What, mate? Would you rather see that sort of game what we had yesterday, which were enjoyable? Or would you rather see a journeyman referee that reacts to crowd reaction, like, when that tackle went in Liam Kelly's, Wigan fans were up, send him off, and these League One journeymen, they tend to go with that kind of thing. Like I say, I'm sticking up for referee myself, and I know a lot will not agree with me, but it's all about opinions, isn't it?
It isn't, but some of the refs we've had are journeyman refs, and they've had really good games, and we credit them. Whenever they have a good game, you don't generally see them. I think the referee, Port Vale, I think was pretty decent. And, you know, I do agree with you, John, in some respects that they can be a bit trigger happy if they're not as experienced as we want them to be.
Yeah.
But Langford's done us more than once, and I think that's why he gets a reputation for us. So it's unlucky for him. But yeah, yesterday's game was excellent, and yeah, he did let it flow.
Yeah,
he did. I agree. I think outside of both boxes, he didn't have a terrible game. Just obviously the two really big decisions with the shirt pulls, he obviously got wrong. I have had a message from Mick, John, saying you're not allowed to come on ever again because you're defending Oliver Langford.
I've got a message from. There's only one worse place I'd rather be than a car park in North Wales, and that's a car park in South Wales. no, but it's just full of Welsh people.
Lewis, what's your take? I think on the handballs, I think I get the first one. First handball I don't think was. I think it was close enough for it not to be. I think the second one is a handball, but I agree with John. I don't think the referee could have seen it, and I don't think the liner could have seen it. I think he got unlucky with how it happened with the second handball.
Yeah, is the second one the one that the Estonian Millers put the clip of?
Yes.
Yeah, they're the two I've seen. The shirt, the Raggett shirt, and the second handball. Then, yeah. I think the handball, for me, it's just the movement of the defender's body towards the ball. I think that's like I said before, the Tarkowski one the other week. It's just the same sort of thing, isn't it? Just the movement of his body. I just think it's if he's not seeing it, then fair enough. There's not really much you can do, but it's not ideal. And I can't really remember the other ones, to be honest with you. I hadn't seen a video of it back. And then the on his overall performance, I think usually you say a ref's had a good game if you don't notice him. But I think, unfortunately, to disagree slightly with John, I think we noticed him a bit too much for him to have had a good game. That's all I'd say. That's all I'd say on the ref.
I know that they do, yeah. But like I say, it's all about opinions, isn't it? That's why we love the game.
Absolutely is. Harry says, but surely he sees the player leaning. But again, from the angle, the referee's basically behind him. I don't think the referee could see the handball. He could have assumed it hit his hand, but I just don't think he could have seen it. And we don't want referees starting guessing. So I'm happy to let him off with the handballs, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The shirt pulling is a different story. But anyway, let's move on to some more positive conversations, John. We touched on Etete, but we haven't touched on him enough because as much as Sean McWilliams changed the game and was fantastic, Etete was brilliant. He could have scored. He had that chance where he headed it back across goal and he just went over the bar. He was everything I've been looking for quite a while, to be honest with you, in terms of a target striker.
Well, like going back to that's what you want Ugle to do. And obviously Etete came on and he gave us everything you want to see in a striker, where you knock it up to him, it sticks, he's awkward, he gets his body in position, you can't get it off him, and then he'll lay it off. It's the perfect striking performance, isn't it? Absolutely 10 out of 10. And obviously changed the game, like we've said already.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Steve? We've had Hugo for a little while, and we had Johnson Clark-Harris last year. We tried to play in a similar way, but Etete's just got those legs, and I'm shocked he's got those legs. Bearing in mind what we saw from the Port Vale game, I can't believe it's the same player that came on the pitch, because Etete was just everything I wanted yesterday. One Steve, sorry.
Well, sorry. Yeah, I mean, it was a bit weird because when we first saw him for 10 minutes at the end of the Port Vale match, you thought, crikey, he's got no flexibility in his legs. But obviously work's gone on and they've managed to loosen him up, and he was absolute dynamite yesterday. It was just his energy. Yeah. And he got all over the pitch. He was digging in. I mean, John mentions a pest. Well, he was a forward pest yesterday. And there were second balls being won. He just wouldn't give in. He had a little bit of movement in him, which I liked. And that, unfortunately, that one at the back post, he should have scored with. But yeah, really changed the game. Him and McWilliams pushed us forward as a team, and I could have sworn we were playing at least 10 yards farther up the pitch as a team anyway in the second half. But yeah, I look forward to seeing more of him.
Yeah,
when we played Stevenage a couple of weeks ago, we were knocking long balls up to Youghal, and it was food and drink for Stevenage back line. And I thought on that day we should have changed it round and probably knocked to 1 or 2 into feet. You know, we didn't sort of change it round enough in that match. But like you say, if we'd have had a Tete in that game, he could have probably give us more options. It's once you start to get people fit and you've got options. I mean, Youghal now is looking over his shoulder thinking, bloody hell, I might not be starting. You know, it's hard with Jordan Youghal because he's had a brilliant career, but you question his desire. I mean, football, it's a game. 75% of football is bull. It's giving people bull to try and get a performance out of them. And I'm sure he's tried with Youghal. And being honest, he's probably thought, I'm not going to get out of him here because, you know, but with Tete coming on and getting that performance, it could have an effect on Youghal. He might think, well, I'm going to have to pull my finger out here. I mean, and he's on his last year of his contract where he's on good money. What's he going to do at the end of it? Is he going to win another contract with us, or is he going to go back to bloody Hartlepool or somewhere like that? What's he going to do?
No, exactly. And to be fair, Lewis, I thought yesterday Youghal, he did what I wanted him to. He worked hard. He ran. He's just not got that extra yard or whatever that he needs. And Tete had that. And he nearly, Tickles pulled off a good save in the first half. Things have been different. That goes in, if it's different keeper and that goes in, things are different. But Tete and Youghal, it was night and day in terms of performance. And that's me not trying to dig out Youghal, so I thought it was okay. Yeah,
I agree. Like with the header, he had flashes, but compared to a Tete, it were, like I say, it were nowhere near really. And I struggle to see. Maybe the interesting thing is with Barnsley midweek, will he stick with Tete and Sheriff, or what will he do? I'm not too sure. I think if it were a league game next, I think you'd be looking at a Tete and Sheriff. But with it being the cup, I think there's a chance Youghal might get to start again, just to see what he does again. But I think, I used to like. I did like Youghal. I still do, but. Like mainly in the Championship, I was a fan of him when he first came in. I thought he held it up well. Like I say, it's not really what we've seen of him though. These past 2 seasons, we've seen nothing what we think we should have. Tete's come straight in, and he's impressed. I think just to say another thing on Tete, one thing I don't think's really been mentioned. I think on the ball, I think he deserves a bit more credit. I remember watching when we signed him. I saw a few clips. Or his footwork, which I was quite surprised to see, based on the fact he's 6'6" or whatever he is. But he did look. I think at times, even yesterday, you look at for McWilliams' goal just before the shot he had, there were a bit of footwork. You look at for the Sheriff goal, the bit of footwork to play the ball in behind on his turn and stuff like that. I think fairly underrated on the ball as well as his. I think a bit of pressing as well. I know Steve said about we looked 10 yards for the forward. I think Dan Gore were part of that as well. Sheriff were part of that, and Tete as well. So I think I'd struggle to see Youghal how he's gonna get back in, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think there's an argument to say. We mentioned this. I thought at the end of last season, Steve, or in pre-season. There's an argument to say that Youghal should just be used towards the end of the game. If you bring Jordan Youghal on with 20 minutes left, if you're chasing the game, you're bringing on a target man who's going to cause problems. If you're defending the game, it can help hold the ball up a little bit. I wonder if his day as a 90-minute man or a starter is done. He still has uses, and if Tete is going to be fit and Sheriff's going to be fit, and when Nombe is back fit, I think there's still a role for Youghal to do. I'm just not convinced it's from start.
Yeah, I agree with
him.
Yeah,
I don't disagree.
Sorry, go on, Steve. Sorry.
So I'm having trouble hearing all you three. You keep blipping out.
Right.
Did you get all that, Steve? Sorry.
I'm having trouble hearing all three of you. because you keep going to, well, you're blipping out basically. I can hardly hear what you're saying.
I'll go again. So, do you think there's a role for Hugill to be the sub man? You know, later on in the game, rather than a starting man. Do you think there is still a place for Hugill to be a man later who kind of finishes the game for you?
Yeah, I think I've heard you. Yeah, I think he certainly he's got that quality to come on for 20 minutes. He did a few times last season and made a mark, but he generally is. As I said last week, he tends to slow the team down a little bit in his movement and what he does. But equally yesterday with that header, you can see there is still a danger if you put the ball in the right area. So, I mean, given the performance of Ateta yesterday, and God help us that Nombe comes back sooner rather than later, then we will have options. And I think he'll be used on and off. Will Hugill? I wouldn't be surprised if he starts on Tuesday, for example. But yeah, the team is affected, I think, by him playing, which is a bit sad. But as far as I can see, it's true.
Yeah, I think it is. Let's move on to other positions, though, John. I thought the wing backs yesterday were excellent. Denzel Hall, I'm very quickly falling in love with Denzel Hall, to be honest with you. He is everything I kind of want in a fullback. I want him to be a bit more adventurous when he gets into the final third. I think he misses crosses and things like that. But Denzel Hall is the one. For me, he's one to watch for the rest of the season. He's exciting, very exciting.
You can see that he's quite capable of playing at a level above what he's at. It's early days, but you know, if you've got half a football brain, you can already see that he's going to be a hell of a player for us and probably end up fetching us a lot of money, to be honest. But I think Coletta as well, to say he played on, left-hand side, I thought he had a right game, and obviously gassed out after about 60, 65 minutes. He'd ran his race, but he kept getting forward, and he's tricky, he's clever. So I thought that were another big positive. Both wing backs yesterday were a big positive. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think we need a little bit more of that, Lewis. I think sometimes, something that I can, if I'm going to throw something against Matt Hamshaw right now, is that I think he can be a bit safe sometimes. The Cardiff game last week was particularly where I think he was far too safe in what he set up. I think starting with Hall and Coletta, I think it's a risk, but I think it's an exciting risk to have because they are really, really good in the attacking areas. Yeah,
I think another one to chuck in that would be playing Martha at wing back as well.
Yeah,
I think it is risky, like you say, but it's front footed. I think definitely with Coletta, I think he's probably better attacking wise than he is defensively. Not to dig him out defensively, but I just think when he against Cardiff, he had his only shot getting forward. I think he did something similar against Salford, I think. And then yesterday we're on runs. It's something I saw. To go back to clips of what I've seen him before, it looks like he does love a good run forward. And then Denzel Hall, I think he's up and down both boxes, I'd say, for him more probably defence. I think he said in his post-match as well, is defensive first and then attack after. But I'd like to see them two more often as opposed to probably Reece James at left wing back, because he's not as attack minded. He hasn't really been throughout his career, and yeah, I'd rather see the more younger attacking wing backs.
Yeah, and Josh Caswell just says Denzel, though. I'm completely with you on that one, Josh. I just love him. But in terms of that braveness, Steve, for Matt Hamshaw, that'll come with time, won't it? It's normal to be kind of cautious to start with. That those choices to be a bit braver with your wing backs will come more often, hopefully, down the line.
I think we'll see them, Coletta and Denzel Hall, mostly at home.
Yeah, I agree.
I think away from home he might play it a bit safer, as you say, because let's face it, our away records are not very good, is it? It's a bit average. But yeah, at home. I mean, yesterday I thought both of them are excellent. I think they're strong lads, and they've also got pace in them. And I mean, Denzel Hall is a classy player as well. The more I see him, like you guys, is the more I think, crikey, we've a real player on our hands here. But I think in terms of the lineup, I think he'll play he'll play safer away from home, which might mean that one or two of those stay on the bench, maybe, or somebody else stays on the bench, because I think as wingers as well, he could use either of them as wingers, and Martha as well, as Lewis mentioned. They're all exciting players, really exciting.
Yeah, I think I agree with Steve on that. I think, those two definitely at home. Away from home, obviously I'm repeating what Steve's already said, but you'd probably look not to lose the game away from home, whereas at home you're looking to win the game. So yeah, I think Steve's right, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. Josh Casper, Denzel could do anything. Maybe he needs to work on his defensive awareness slightly, but I love him already. I love his ability to get back, though. When he makes mistakes, he's constantly trying to make up for it and win the ball back. And yeah, Denzel Hall's going to be a top play for us. Let's have a quick look ahead to the League Cup in the week, John, away at Barnsley. Obviously, South Yorkshire derby. A good opportunity to get through to the third round and get somebody bigger. But Donny away on Saturday is obviously the bigger game. We don't have a massive squad to change things around. So how many changes or how much change would you expect to see from Saturday?
Yeah, I think there will be changes. I think he'll get one or two at bench lads, probably Holmes. It might get a run. One or two other lads. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to go through and have a bit of a cup run. But like you've said, that Donny game it's a more important game for me because, we're a little bit behind curve points-wise. We could do with picking something up, at least a point. But obviously, I'm greedy. I'd like 3. So yeah, I'm sort of thinking he might risk Hugo at Barnsley, and probably stick with these 2 that came on for second half, give them more of a run out. But yeah, I think it's a game. I think it's a game we can win. And like I say, if you win that one, then you get a big tie in sort of third round. It's something that we're not used to as Rotherham fans, isn't it? We don't do cup runs anymore.
Yeah, it's 2008 or 9 last time we got to the third round, which we got to the fourth round that year when we lost to Stoke. So it's a long old time since we've made it past this round. Harry asks, is Jules back? I don't think Jules is back for this one. I think he could be back for the next one. It's also about people giving minutes, Lewis. Martha, I think it's a good opportunity to play Martha. If Coletta's got another hour in him, I think another hour for someone like Coletta to get to build. You're building these guys' fitnesses up. I won't want to risk anybody like Raggett, but I think it's important to give certain players a few more minutes. Yeah,
and like John said as well, I think Jack Holmes as well. I think he's probably going to start. Maybe up front's the big one. Whether he goes back to Karen McGuckin or whether he sticks with the 2 that finished the other day, I'm not too sure. I think defensively as well. You look at did Denzel Hall play against Salford? I'm not too sure.
I think he came on towards the end.
Come on, because he's been fairly involved in every game. So do you give him a rest? Or it all depends how much he prioritises this game. Like you said, it's a bit of a catch-22. You either prioritise this game and hope you can beat a League One side, a fellow League One side, and potentially look at a bigger tie, or you prioritise the league game on the Saturday and you rotate a bit more, you rest a bit more, and you get more minutes into potentially even younger players. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe James Clark play. He came on against Cardiff, and then did Kane Richardson come on against Salford as well? I think so. He might be in the squad, and we still don't know on Harrison Duncan, another defensive option. So he could be another option for us.
Yeah, of course. And Kenneth Pos mentions Yearwood as well, Steve. That he's another player I'm excited to see more from Yearwood, and I think this will be another opportunity for him to stake a claim going. Bear in mind how Kelly played and how Williams was very, very good. Yearwood needs a chance to kind of stake his claim.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think he'll play Hugo. It's a choice of which. Have you got Etete? I mean, Etete was injured, wasn't he, last week?
Yeah.
Was he injured?
Oh, well,
so is he going to risk him when he's anyway? Well, he couldn't. Yeah, but I actually still think he'll play Hugo. It'll be the ones that he can afford to risk, I think, more than anything. And I think he'll try and put his strongest side out possible. Agree with Lewis. Jack Holmes should get a run out. I think put the young lads on the bench alongside. I think Yearwood should play, put Kelly on the bench, that sort of thing. We've not got that much of a choice, frankly.
Yeah.
But, it'd be lovely to win. And also, Saturday's coming up, isn't it? The Doncaster game, which is a big one, as John says. So he'll have half an eye on that one.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's been forever since we won at Barnsley, and also it'd be nice to get one over there before we go when it really matters.
I can't remember. When was the last time?
I think it was 81-ish, I think.
Jesus wept. I was 20.
I'll see if I can find us. We'll see if somebody in the comments can tell us. But while we're
you weren't born. No, was Lewis.
I wasn't born.
I don't think Lewis's dad was probably born. And I wouldn't like to say whether John was born or not, because I don't know how old John is.
Bear with me. I've got the head-to-heads up now, so I will find out. So the last victory against Barnsley in any competition was 82.
God almighty.
We haven't won at Oakwell since...
was that was Ronnie? That was Ronnie in his police hat, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right, Steve.
Yeah, he took.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
That's why he gets a load of grief from Barnsley fans, isn't it? Still.
Yeah. So there you go. It'd be nice to get a win, but there are bigger fish to fry, unless we get a big boy in the third round. But we'll see. Phil said if he sets up loud in the last few away games, it doesn't bode well. We are better on the front foot, so why not be more adventurous? Yeah, I wonder if he'll take a risk with being a cup game.
Possibly.
I think with Salford we changed to a 4 at the back. I think so. Again, because we don't want to risk Raggett, it may change back to a 4 at the back. We'll have to wait and see on that one. One last thing before we finish, we want to give a shout out to Lindsay, who I'm sure the Rotherham fan you'll see on Twitter. She is doing the London Marathon in April to raise money for Alzheimer's Society. So if you want to go over to her Twitter page, we'll share it as well. So if you want to donate to her doing raising some good money for charity, go over and have a look. The club also did tonight the awards ceremony for the best ever things. I don't have any winners, although they did leak accidentally that Ronnie Moore was the best manager. But that's not been officially announced yet. So we'll leave that on when we talk about that on Thursday. Is there anything else you guys want to mention before we knock it on Ed?
I had a conundrum after the 80th minute when we went 2-1 up because I predicted 2-2 in the predictions. I was desperately not wanting it to be right.
Yeah.
But it is. And I've dressed up tonight in recognition of the fact that I enjoyed the game on Saturday.
It was enjoyable. How nice was it to come out a game and just kind of be happy that it was enjoyable?
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good. We'll do. I'll update the prediction league because there was you and Sam, who obviously comes on sometimes. He got 2-2 as well. No prediction. Yeah, let's do some predictions. Let's do predictions for the Barnsley game. No points for you, league for us 4 in the league, so that doesn't matter. But so this is just for fun. Lewis, what do you reckon on Tuesday?
I'm gonna go for another 2-2, and I'll be optimistic and say we'll nick it on pens. I'll go for that.
You can't knock back as we Dawson on pens, can you?
No, exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to go a sneaky, dirty 1-0. I don't think it'll be particularly entertaining. I don't think either side will go strong. So I'm going just 1-0 to us. What do you reckon, John?
I'm going 2-1 Millers. Yeah, I think it's time we won at Barnsley, and this might be the time.
We'll take it. Steve?
1-1. Dawson penalties.
Yeah, just give us something a little bit entertaining. Don't have to be as exciting as the side, but a little bit of something. Harry's saying 3-0 Barnsley. Don't care one bit as long as we beat them on Saturday. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Josh Caswell says 1-1 Dawson penalties. He thinks Powell will scream. Powell is due a scream. He lined one up yesterday, which didn't work out. So Powell's is always one. Right, we will finish it there. Thank you everybody for watching. Make sure you have subscribed on YouTube if you haven't done so already. And if you're watching on X, make sure you follow and go over to YouTube and subscribe as well. If you haven't done so, you can watch the instant reaction with me and Kev yesterday when we were smiling and talking about how back Rotherham United are. We didn't get carried away at all, but we're definitely back. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, make sure you follow, subscribe, wherever else you do. And if you do think so, you can give us a 5-star rating, wherever that may be. Remember, back Thursday evening, which like I said, will be the review of the Barnsley game and look ahead to the Doncaster game. And don't forget, next week, no Sunday show, but we are live on Monday for Deadline Day. Thank you very much, Lewis. Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much, Steve. We will see everybody next time. Thank you for watching. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Comes for more. 2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots. Ravel. Vicious, but brilliant. The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United.
One's got round the back, and Richie